Okay, folks, without further ado, this is the beginning of my video of Israel. Okay, just as promised. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to open this up, first of all, by very quickly telling you folks, I want you to keep in mind something. Racism is not a good thing in the eyes of the Lord. Of any kind. I don't care who you are or what you're a part of. Racism is not that of the Lord. You know, and on my end, I can sit in a black man's home and I can talk to him about problems that we both have. And he conveys to me the same problems, the same thing going on with his kids, the same type of problems that I have, he's also got. People are the same everywhere you go. Same thing with Muslim people. I know plenty of people that are Muslim that are actually good people to sit down and talk to. People who have actually talked to me about things and expressed concerns that they had with me who were Muslim. So you see, folks, our job as Christians is to revelate the gospel of Jesus Christ to all nations and all races. But at the same time, I want you to remember, we are not to be racist of any kind toward any nationality of people. And that includes the Jewish people. The Jewish people, the ordinary Jewish people as a whole, I don't have anything against them. I'm not racist to them, okay? So I want you to understand that to begin with, to open up this video. Now, how we're going to open this video up is this. We're going to go all the way back to the slavery of the Jewish people in Egypt, which is in northern Africa. And this is where, actually in this little tiny slit you see here, this is where that Pharaoh chased Moses across the Red Sea. And of course, you know, the Bible talks about parting the Red Sea for the Jewish people to go across. And Pharaoh chased them, and so then, you know, the sea came in on them. So that's where that happened, in this very little tiny slit you see here. Okay? All right. Now, in order to tell you what show you what I need to show you in this video, we're going to have to take a history lesson that's been unlike any history lesson that you have ever received, okay? See, the history books, folks, they're all wrong about many things. Now, we're going to adjust this thing out now, all right? The history books are wrong about many things. First of all, I want you to know, just like I told you before when I told you the aristocracy runs the United States of America, and I don't feel like we're electing presidents, we're not. The aristocracy rules the United States and rules the world, okay? They existed since way back 900, 1,000, 1,100 years ago. And all of a sudden in the last 100 and some, right at 200 years, people just think that they've all of a sudden vanished. Do you really think that all the kings and the queens vanished and just gave up all their property, gave up their property rights, all that stuff, and laid it down in Turkey, in France, in Italy, in the United States of America, in Germany? Do you really think that's happened? And I'm here to tell you right now it's not. The only thing that's happened is a different order has been designed, okay? And in 1776, there were quite a few things took place in that year. And you might say, well, Jerry, one of the things that took place in that year was on July 4th, we gained our independence in the United States. But something else that happened that you didn't realize, in Germany, Okay? Adam Weishaupt founded the Illuminati. And the Rothschilds were along with that conspiracy to found the Illuminati. All right? Now, I want you to just keep that in mind, because that 1776 is the milestone year for which the old world order under the kings and queens ended and the new world order began in this world. Okay? Now, based on some research from Dr. William Ripley that was reinforced by Sean Horosz, I'm going to show you a timeline of what has happened. And this timeline is going to be the movement of the pharaohs in Egypt. Because you see, in Egypt, in the modern day world that we are talking, they are no longer there, folks. They're not. The only thing that's there now is basically Muslims and a conglomeration of some African American people, and the pharaonic blood is no longer in Egypt in the modern day world that we live in. Okay? Through Dr. William Ripley's study of craniometry, okay, we're going to be able to conduct a timeline of what has happened from the time that Pharaoh had the Jews under persecution in Egypt all the way up to where that we currently are in the modern day world that we live in. And this is based upon a skull formation that's a little bit different as far as Homo sapiens are concerned than the average skull. Your average skull in the world of a Homo sapien is a dolichocephalic skull formation, okay? The skull formation of the people who are in Switzerland, okay, to be found in Switzerland and in certain other parts of Europe, but mainly in Switzerland, are indeed of the brachycephalic skull formation. And it's confirmed through his cephalometry, through his study of craniometry, that indeed is a fact, okay? You can look this stuff up for yourself, guys. We live in a world of information in these days. So if we're going to follow the timeline of the pharaohs, let's do so. From Egypt, they went over in to Kazakhstan, and over where the Mongolians were in the early years, and Genghis Khan, okay? They moved from Genghis Khan, obviously, to the Khazarians in Kazakhstan. Later on, they moved over toward Romania and over this way to the ancient warlords of Malarkey. All right? Actually, Prince Charles even says and admits that he is a descendant of Vavard Ducour, the Impaler, okay, from the ancient warlords of Malarkey. Then from that, they moved over and the Crusades began at that point in time. Well, no, I'm messing up right here. From the ancient warlords of Malarkey, they moved over into Italy. And the Roman Empire was founded here. Now, you may say, now, Jerry, you mean to tell me that the Egyptians moved from here over into here and the Roman Empire was founded at that? Yes, at that timeline, at that point in time. And I would go through all the timelines, guys, but it's going to take too much time for this video to do that. But they moved over from the ancient warlords of Malarkey over to Rome. Then the Crusades began, folks. And from these Crusades, they became the Templars. And, of course, you've heard the story about the Templars and Jacques de Molay being chased by the French king and eventually burned at the stake. But they finally resided in the modern day world that we live in Austria, parts of Germany, and parts of Poland. And you may say, now, well, now, Jerry, I don't know if I believe that or not. You mean to tell me that the Egyptian pharaohs now reside in Switzerland? Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. And if you don't believe that, I'm going to show you a clip here really quick. And this clip, okay, this clip shows a pyramid with an obelisk in the middle of it. This clip is courtesy of Dr. Sean Haras. And you may say, well, Jerry, where did you get that from? Well, did you get it from Egypt? No. This picture, which by the way was taken down later on, was taken in Switzerland. And actually, when Napoleon went into Switzerland, some of his people actually come over there while he was kneeling and looking at it, and they asked him, they said, what are you doing, Napoleon? He said, I don't want to explain it because you wouldn't understand it to begin with. Why? Because Napoleon at that time was part of the aristocracy. So you can see the aristocracy, they come out on the battlefield and they actually shake hands with one another out on the battlefield. They indulge in acknowledging one another as brothers. And the reason why they do that, folks, you're like, well, they're almost like family? Is that how they're? Yes. It's an internal battle, folks. As bad as I hate to tell you this, and you people may not understand that, all of your rulers of the world, of the aristocracy, have came from Pharaoh. We're all being ruled by the pharaonic order of Egypt. Now, that's going to come as a shock to many of you people. But stop and think about it. Are they not some type of family? Okay? They obviously act like it on the battlefield through the years when they fought. And they used the peasants to fight and shed bloodshed between them and a neighboring brother. They're all pharaonic. All right. So, I have established that in Switzerland is a high concentration of the brachycephalic skull formation, which is more of a round skull formation, than the dolichocephalic, okay? And I showed you the timeline for it to get there, and I've showed you the pictures. Okay. Now, I want to move on to the Jews. The Jews have also got this brachycephalic skull formation. And you may be like, well, Jerry, why is that they would have the same skull formation as the Egyptians? Well, you have to remember, for 410 years, Pharaoh, they were a prisoner of him in Egypt. All right? And at that point in time, Pharaoh raped a lot of the women that were in there. And that was actually the reason why that God brought the Jews out of Egypt, is because they had already been slaves for hundreds and hundreds of years. The pyramids and stuff and the things that they needed to build for the empire of the pharaohs had been accomplished. And Satan told his black magic pharaohs, kill them. It's over with. Kill them. They're done. And so you see, the Lord either had to bring the Jewish people, his chosen people, out of Egypt, or they were going to face total annihilation because of genocide. Now, they already were heavily embedded and heavily saturated with Egyptian beliefs, Babylonian beliefs. They already had a lot of the characteristics, including this skull formation, of the Egyptians. And so that's why they have the brachycephalic skull formation, the same as the people that resides in the Swiss Alps. Okay? Not Austria, Switzerland. Same thing as what they reside in the Swiss Alps on. So I just want you to know that and get that straight, all right? So now, with a discerning mind, I want to ask you some questions. We're going to move on to World War II here. With a discerning mind, can you tell me why that the Swiss in Switzerland would move the Jews into a corner into two small little towns called Endigen and Lenau? and moved them into the corner of basically the same thing as a ghetto like was in Poland during World War II. They abused them, they beat them up, they done everything that was just humiliating to them like Jews have been done and treated over the years. And they made them wear a little yellow hat and a little yellow star and a little yellow Jew hat on top of their head. And they finally got fed up with it and left. So they eventually were right at the German border already in Indigen and Lenau. So they left and they went to Germany. All right, now with a discerning mind, I want to ask you something. These Jewish bankers that you have that control the world, that claim they're Jewish, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the rest of them, Warburns or whatever they are, can you tell me with a discerning mind why they would treat their own people that way? If they are Jews and they drove the Jews out, can you tell me with a discerning mind if that makes any sense? Why Jews would drive Jews out of the same country? And another thing that I bring up, why would these Jewish bankers in Switzerland finance the war for Hitler? If indeed he was killing regular, ordinary Jewish people all across Europe and all across the lower end of Asia, why would they finance the war for Hitler? Knowing that he's taking the money they're giving them from Switzerland and financing the concentration camps. Does that make any sense to you people any whatsoever? Listen to what I'm trying to say here. Does it make any sense that that would happen? It makes no sense whatsoever. And these are the same Jews, supposed Jews, that you have here in Switzerland, that have also taken advantage of the World War II situation, and they came out and they have reestablished the state of Israel. They took advantage of everything that went on, but the people that they ran completely out of Lindingen and Lenau, the same people they ran out, and the same people that they financed the war for Hitler, are the same people that they took the blood of these people and they took advantage of it in a very sympathetic situation. And what did they do? They founded Israel with it. Now, folks, that makes no sense whatsoever. Now, I was trying to explain some of this to a family member of mine some months ago. And this family member of mine told me, Jerry, you're all wrong and off key. You're trying to tell me that some of these Jews are fake, that they're not real Jews. That's exactly what I was trying to tell her people. And guess what? I ended up getting blocked for this. She don't want to talk to me anymore. And then she went to social media. And she told everybody that I needed to read my Bible more, that I didn't know what I was talking about. And she also said that she was reading Revelations at the time. And boy, that is something else, okay? That's just unbelievable to me, because there are actually 2 verses in Revelations, and I'll read them to you a little bit later on, that tell you that these people proclaim to be Jews but are not. And I'm just going to tell you, folks, straight up, these same Jewish bankers, which, by the way, on your Federal Reserve note, these same Jewish bankers, they are also the same ones that established Israel, and they are also the ones that Revelation is talking about, who proclaim to be Jews that are not, because John the Revelator talks clearly and plainly about these people. Okay? They are the ones that are hiding behind this thing about the concentration camps and about all these millions of people. Yeah, there was millions of Jews that got killed, folks, in concentrations all over the place. Auschwitz, Sobibor, plenty of ordinary people got killed. But it wasn't their people, the people that they got killed in these places, they pushed them out of ghettos in Switzerland. Now, does that make any sense to you, folks? Then they turn around and they're taking all this advantage of the situation of the blood spilt then, and they're saying, well, you know, if you say anything at all against the establishment we made in Israel, you're anti-Semitic. They're playing the cards, folks, on both ends. But anyway, we'll move on from this. This is section 1 of my video.